Hi, I'm Maitlan Brown, and you're listening to How's That, the cricket podcast.
You messed about, I called you out. How's that?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of How's That, the cricket podcast with myself, Ollie.
And me, Lily.
So we have got another episode on the way. We've got 100 talk. We've got another very, very special guest, a brilliant guest that we had on the way. Sixers star Maitlan Brown is our interviewee for the week. And we've just come off the back of that now as we're recording this. And Lily, how good was it? It was wonderful, wasn't it?
It was so much fun to talk to Maitlan. She's so funny, so brilliant. So yeah, it's so much fun. Probably one of the most fun interviews I've ever done.
Yeah, I think I would tend to agree with that. To be honest, not to discredit any of the other interviewees that we've done, but like that one was just like, it's one of those just ones where you just go, wow, we've just had the chance to talk to someone like Maitlan Brown. It was pinch yourself kind of thing. But before that, as always, you've got to listen to us natter about a bit of cricket. And I guess we've got to start with 100.
Yeah, there's not been much else aside from the 100 really, has there? So the men's tournament obviously kicked off quite a bit before the women's this time round because the women did have the Commonwealth Games. So as that ended, the men's had already started and then the women have just joined up now. So I've just had 6 matches have gone as we're speaking now. But it's been pretty good so far. Like I've been watching obviously on the TV from home and crowds have been pretty crazy, especially for the women's games. It's been really amazing to see, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. There's been a lot of good moments in there as well. Obviously, we started like a week ago now, just over a week ago. And there's been some really good games. I actually watched a bit of the women's game the other day with the originals, and watching that was pretty good. Like celebrating every originals wicket. I wasn't really too much involved with 100 now. I really feel like I've got a connection with the team, which is nice. Seeing Old Trafford in all its glory, hosting a 100 game was wonderful. And I think it's going to be good for the rest of the summer. I hope. Obviously, you'll be going to games. You'll be going to Old Trafford even to watch the 100, as we've mentioned a number of times. So. To have that first-hand experience from me, or second-hand for me, but first-hand for you, will be awesome. But there's been some good cricket played as well, which is good to see.
Yeah, there has. Like I said, very excited to go over and watch some games myself. But like you mentioned, Manchester Originals, so disappointing. Just so disappointing. Got absolutely demolished by Trent Rockets, but that was game 3. That wasn't even game 1. So game 1 obviously being between the Northern Superchargers and Oval Invincibles to kick it all off was pretty amazing at the Kia Oval. But Alyssa Healy has gone over this tournament, and she's obviously, a lot of the Australians didn't get to make it over last time, so all the big Australian headline names are over there now. But Alyssa Healy hit a couple of boundaries right off the start, but only scored 15, was dismissed by Sophia Smale, who is 17-year-old, just been called up to Oval Invincibles from the Western Storm. So really good to see her get her first wicket, and it being Healy as well was very exciting. Jemima Rodrigues, 51, Bess Heath, 6, Holly Armitage, 1, Laura Wolf at 49 from the Northern Superchargers, with Alice Davis and Richards on 12 not out. Unfortunately did not win against the Oval Invincibles, who were just too good on the day, with Lauren Winfield-Hill 74 not out and Alice Capsey 25 not out. After taking a awful looking fall earlier on in the innings, she fell and landed awkwardly on her ankle, which didn't look too great, but to see her go out there and still bat was really courageous of her. I think showed a lot of character for Alice Capsey, so that was brilliant. But yeah, Oval Invincibles win there. So next up was the second game, and it was London Spirit versus Southern Brave, where Southern Brave were just too good for Spirit on the day, winning by 6 wickets with 6 balls remaining. But Beth Mooney definitely put up a fight of 97 not out off 55 balls. Just incredible to see her go out there and do so well for the Spirit. Grace Scrivens unfortunately only scored 1, Amelia Kerr 37, Danielle Gibson none, Naomi Datani 3, and Sophie Luff 5 not out. Like I said, Beth Mooney's knock of 97 still couldn't get them over the line, with Smriti Mandana 19, Danny Wyatt 65, Sophia Dunkley 34 not out, Maya Boucher 0, and Georgia Adams 18, but Freya Kemp also 14 not out, just coming off obviously a very good Commonwealth Games series. But in Australia, Amanda Jade Wellington taking 3 wickets for the Brave was also pretty amazing to see. It's good to see the Aussies doing well, obviously. So yeah, that was the Spirit and Brave, with Danny Wyatt making a player of the match with 65 off 34.
Yeah, it's unlucky when
Can't
you
just-
make 97 and don't even get player of the match.
Yeah, I know.
Harsh.
Very harsh. But yeah, then moving on to, unfortunately, Trent Rockets and Manchester Originals. It was looking good. They only had to chase down 120 to win, and they really couldn't manage to do it. Top score was Abby Freeborn with 45 not out, but she even came down lower in the order, so she didn't even have that many balls to face, but still managed to score 45. Wickets from Deandra Dottin, who got 2, Kate Cross 1, Hannah Jones 1, and Sophie Eccleston 1 as well. And I loved her little Macarena that she did when she got that wicket. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
I don't know if I was watching at that point, but there were a few good celebrations in there. It just shows
totally.
how this is growing as a competition, isn't it? When you can just get, even with all the stuff that's happening around, like during the ball, after every single delivery, you've got things going on as well, so you can't miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. But then, like we said, Manchester just really couldn't get any scores up there. The highest score was Lizelle Lee with 17, but other than that, Emma Lamb, duck, Deandra Dottin, duck, Sophie Eccleston and Kate Cross, duck, but not to mention Alana King taking a hat trick, which was pretty amazing. She got Cordelia Griffith, then Sophie Eccleston, and then Kate Cross. So that was a hat trick there, which was pretty amazing. And her little tribute to Shane Warne as well that she said afterwards was pretty brilliant to watch. So really good to see, obviously, Alana King, Aussie, doing well out there. But yeah, very disappointing that the Originals really just couldn't get going. So yeah, that's the Originals and Trent Rockets.
So then, of course, we had Welsh Fire and the Birmingham Phoenix. Birmingham winning by 19 runs. Sophie Devine, as good as she's been, top of the order again, 48. Elise Perry, 58. You had Sophie Molyneux with 29. You had Izzy Wong getting a duck in there, which, isn't quite what Izzy Wong is, but you can't have a good knock every single time. You got to miss out sometimes. You had Nicholas with 2 wickets and singles for our very own Alex Hartley. Annabelle Sutherland got 1 as well, and you also had George at the bottom there with 1 for 15. Hayley Matthews wicketless, which is again something you don't see all too often. But it was one of those where you're sort of thinking, is that enough? And then it was so proven that it was. Welsh Fire unable to get there. Tammy Beaumont's off the order with 39 of 34. Slightly slow, just over on a ball, getting to 39, but still not a bad score. Couldn't quite go on with it, though. Annabelle Sutherland got a bit of a roll on 34 of 21. It wasn't enough as the Welsh Fire fell. And if you have a look at the bowling column for the Birmingham Phoenix, there was 2 wickets for Georgia Elwis, 1 for Devine, and 1 for Maxud as well. So, they've done well there, to be honest, if we're being truthful, of the Birmingham Phoenix to get a win there, away as well in Cardiff. So I'm sure they'll be taking that one and running for sure.
Yeah, definitely is. Good to see Phoenix, obviously second team, very close second team. So good to see them get a win there. Very disappointing to not see Izzy Wong hitting her 6s over the boundary, but hopefully next game. So then the next game was Northern Superchargers versus Spirit, where Northern Superchargers managed to fight back and win this one by 5 runs. Obviously, Alyssa Healy still not doing Alyssa Healy things, but 22 off 17. Jemima Rodriguez 2 off 5. Really not Jemima there either. But the brilliant Bess Heath 57 off 34. I was watching this one live, and watching her get a 50 there was really special to be out in the middle with Laura Wolfart, who also got 24 not out. Holly Armitage 16 and Alice Davison Richards 2 not out. But then the bowling side, Amelia Kerr taking 2 wickets. Really good to see Amelia Kerr just back out there, to be honest. It's been a while since I've seen her in short format cricket, since she hasn't been playing Big Bash for quite some time. So yeah, that was really exciting. But then Freya Davies and Grace Scrivens also getting 1 wicket each. And then again, Beth Mooney 30, Grace Scrivens 18, Amelia Kerr 16, Sophie Luff 39 not out, and then just under 10 scores from then on. But yeah, really good from Northern Superchargers. Great to see them get a win again. Obviously great to see Holly Armitage, former podcast guest, score. And yeah, really, really glad for Bess Heath.
Yeah, so it was a good knock, wasn't it? Anytime you make over 50, it's something to celebrate, and she certainly can, and especially when it gets your team over the line. But the last game, as we're currently recording this, to be completed in the women's comp was the Brave and the Invincibles. The Brave winning out. They batted first, 153 for 8, propelled largely by Spriti Mandana, who is a wonderful, wonderful cricketer. Again, top of the order. 46, so be slightly disappointed she couldn't quite make the half century, but even still, it was a knock that was good enough to win aside the game. At the end of things, Freya Kemp down the order as well, making a nice little 24, decent little cameo there. And then there was a lot of starts, but no one able to really go on with it. Wyatt 14, Sophia Dunkley with 13, Maya Boucher 13, Georgia Adams made 18. There was a few that just couldn't quite go on with it. But if you go into the wickets column, you had Sophia Smell with 2, you had Maddie Villiers with 1, Raina McDonald-Gay with 1, and Eva Gray with 1 as well. When it came to batting for the Invincibles, they just couldn't quite put it together. Again, a lot of starts with Winfield Hill making 25, Bates 15, Cranston 18, Marathon Cat making 19. You just need 1 or 2 of those to go on with it, and you probably get a win there. But as it was, they just couldn't go on with it, and they fell short in the end. A couple of wickets again for Georgia Adams, who capped off a really good game, and Danny Wyatt also had 2. So a good win for them.
Just no Alice Capsey, which is a bit disappointing to see. She's always very exciting to watch. So hopefully injury hasn't got the best of her there. So hopefully we can see her back out next game. But yeah, it was surprising to see Oval Invincibles go down in this game, as they were so strong in the first game. But yeah, Southern Brave topping the tables. Good to see Tali McGrath make a 100 debut as well. That was her first game of the season. So yeah, pretty. I only got 5, but hopefully she can show her all-round status and go up in the next game. But yeah, that's the 100 so far.
So we've also had a few men's games to talk about. We won't talk about all of them because it's been going on for a while. That tournament, there's been 14 that have happened as we are recording this. But the one thing I did just want to point out, Lily, very quickly, is the first 100, which we've been waiting for a little while to say that. Nicely rolls off the tongue. Will Smead, top of the order, 101 off 50 deliveries. What a knock that was. And obviously they weren't going to lose from there. Birmingham absolutely walloped the Southern Brave, and what a knock that was from the 20-year-old.
Yeah, it was really good, and good to see, like you said, someone young, someone new come in and score a score like that. Was pretty amazing to see. So yeah, really exciting, and looking forward to watching him bat in some games when I'm over there. That should be fun. So obviously London Spirit topping the table at the moment, winning all of their games so far. It's been pretty smooth run for the Spirit so far. Oval Invincibles in second with winning 3 and losing only 1 game. So obviously London Spirit and Oval Invincibles have played 4 matches, and then Trent Rockets are sitting in third, only playing 3 matches but winning all 3. Birmingham Phoenix playing 3 matches but winning 2. And then we've got Northern Superchargers and Southern Brave, who have both played 4, won 1 and lost 3. And then down the bottom, Manchester Originals and Welsh Fire, who have both played 3, lost all of them. So pretty disappointing from the Originals.
How many times have we said every team I pick and follow and try and support, they just gravitate towards the bottom end of whatever league they're playing in?
Yeah.
It's not good.
No, it's not. So hopefully they can make a bit of a comeback and top the table there. That should be, I guess we'll see. But yeah, that's the table for the men's 100. Like we said, too many games to kind of run through all of them. But yeah, it's going on. It's still going, and we'll keep everybody updated.
Yeah, we certainly will.
Before we move on to the interview, I've just got one thing I quickly want to say on air. So it's out there on the internet before it happens. So I have had reoccurring dreams. Now, you don't know about this, Ollie. You don't know about this.
No.
So this is the live reaction here. I've had reoccurring dreams, nightmares really, that Susie Bates is going to sign with the Stars.
Wait. This is the point about live reaction, right? So what?
So it's happened twice now where I've had a nightmare that Susie Bates, who's obviously been a striker for quite some time, has signed with the Stars. So I have a feeling it's going to happen, and I really hope it doesn't. Like, when you just feel something is going to happen.
Yeah.
That's how I feel right now with Susie Bates moving to the Stars.
Clip it up, right? This needs to be put on record, put on, I don't know, TikTok, Instagram, whatever we've got. This needs to be on socials, because we need to get Susie Bates across the Stars.
No.
If this is the motion that starts it, we need to get Susie Bates in green.
No. Absolutely. That was not what I was meaning by that at all. What I was meaning was that I hope she doesn't move over to the Stars. Not let's get Susie Bates over to the Stars.
We'd welcome
So,
you, Susie. We absolutely would
No,
welcome you.
absolutely not. We want to
But-
keep you, Susie. Please stay.
For context, for people who are listening in for the first time, I am a Melbourne-based Stars fan, and Lily obviously a South Australian-based Strikers fan, so that's why we've got a difference in opinion. Susie Bates at the Stars would just be
No,
perfect, wouldn't it?
okay.
Would be
No, we
perfect.
could go on. No, so we could go on for hours and hours about this, just going back and forth. So anyway, that I'm just putting that out there. That was what my nightmares were. So if that happens, I'm psychic or something.
Well,
like
thanks
I'm.
you.
No, you won't thank me. I'll cry. So that's what will happen. But anyway, moving on. I just wanted to put that out there. So
Yeah, sounds good.
yeah. Anyway,
Sounds good.
moving on.
So we will now move on to our podcast guest, who, of course, is former Renegade, turned Sixer, former Breaker, turned Meteor, turned Breaker. A crazy career path and a wonderful interviewee. Absolutely wonderful. Like, she's honestly got absolute heart of gold. We joke that, she didn't give us any short answers, which is a great thing because we have a lot to go off and a lot to go with. Maitlan Brown, absolute star. Enjoy the interview.
And bowled first ball straight through Van Niekerk. Maitlan Brown strikes for the Sydney Sixers.
Welcome and thank you very much for joining us today.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
So could you just start off by telling us where in the world you are and where you're at in your cricket career?
Yeah, so I'm currently in Sydney, based in Sydney, and at the moment I'm training with the New South Wales Breakers. We've almost / finally finished pre-season, thank God, because it's been a bit of a slog. We've been flogged fitness-wise, and getting back into skills has been really good. And we're about to kick off the season in a couple of weeks. We're heading up to Coffs Harbour for some practice games. So getting ready to play at the end of September, and then we're flat strap until the end of the season, really. But that's about it at the moment. It's just a domestic focus, and hopefully if I perform well, I can get selected in a couple of Aussie tours coming up. But at the moment it just seems that all I need to do is perform in domestic and hope that the rest takes care of itself.
I mean, because the last season got delayed, it's now feeling like the season's come around very quick, hasn't it? You've probably not had much time off, and now it's just back straight into cricket. All come around very quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has. I remember we're in April and I was still playing cricket, and I'm like, oh geez, I can't believe it's April and we're playing cricket here in Australia. I was playing a few great games to finish off the season, and so from then, obviously that delays a little bit of extra time off that we usually get. But thanks to COVID and all other things out of our control, the season felt like it was never ending. And we're back here, and it's come around so quick. Like, I can't believe it. It's almost Big Bash time, it feels, and I feel like we only just finished. So we did get a little bit of time off. We usually have about 6 to 8 weeks off, from April until obviously start of June, I guess. And that's really great. Like, honestly, last leave period, I just milked the fact that I had time off, and sat around my butt a fair bit and just spent as much time at home as I could. I went and saw my family, which was really nice. They live about 4.5 hours away from me, so got to go spend some time with them, and just hung out at home with the dog, with my partner, and chilled in the garden. Obviously, I did a bit of training, so I wouldn't be completely cooked in pre-season. But I know it sounds really boring, but that's sort of what I did, and I'm really glad I did, because it looks like it's going to be a pretty busy year.
It certainly does. A lot of competitions on the way, but we talked a little bit about pre-season and how it sort of works out most of the time. Has these last couple of years been different to how you've prepared, perhaps pre-COVID, and if so, how has it been different?
I wouldn't say necessarily different pre-COVID. I would just say the actual season itself is different pre-COVID. I guess it's not as long and dragged out and uncertain. Felt the last 2 years have been uncertain. There has been a few difficulties, I guess, with restrictions and lockdowns. Obviously, this time last year where Sydney was locked down, and that was a really interesting sort of period because, yeah, somehow the government let us train, which, yeah, I felt, you know, we're super grateful. And yeah, training was a bit weird. It was very spread out. We're split into 2 groups. So it was the batters and bowlers, and there was a bit of like disconnect, I guess, but we're a pretty tight knit group and still maintained obviously friendships and chatted whenever we could, like whether it was that distance chat and there was a bit of banter still chucked around. But yeah, the last couple of years have been a bit different for me, I guess. About almost 2 years ago, I was injured. So yeah, this time last year, I was actually just coming off the back of that injury, and I was pretty much just getting ready to be ready for pre-season. So it was a bit rushed and on the fly, I guess. But this year's been really nice to actually have a base, obviously, from last year to build upon, and have a really strong pre-season. Hopefully providing some success for the coming season.
Yeah, absolutely. And you spent a lot of time in the New South Wales setup in various spells now. You talked about the banter that gets flying around and whatnot. What's the New South Wales setup actually like from someone who's, you know, in the inner sanctum and, you know, right involved with it all?
Yeah, it's really cool to be a part of such an elite group. Obviously, as you mentioned, I've had a few different stints at the New South Wales squad. When I was young, I came up through the New South Wales pathway and found myself, you know, following an opportunity down in ACT and stayed there for about 5 years. But I'm back now, and it's a really cool group. Like, yeah, the history of the Breakers is very professional and very elite and very diligent, and that's how I remembered it coming through the pathways, and that's how it still is. It's very traditional, and yeah, it is honestly like so elite. Like, we're really fortunate. We've got you know, at the moment we've got a brand new facility. I spent 60 mil on it, which was pretty cool. So we've literally got a world-class facility to train at, and honestly, I reckon it's probably the best cricket center in the world, definitely Australia. Yeah, but I reckon they give most places a run for their money. But it's cool. Like, we've got such a fun group. Phoebe Litchfield's a character. She makes me laugh so much. Today we were in the gym, and we had a bit of like Black Eyed Peas and what's that country song? There's like
Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah. We were all like dancing. We were meant to do our gym session, and I could see the coaches' faces tensing up a little bit, knowing that we were having fun, but also like, girls, you need to get your ass into gear. And here I am talking about how you know, diligent and whatnot. We are, but we do have a lot of fun. And you know, we obviously have some senior players and world-class experience in the squad. We've got Rachel Haynes, Alyssa Healy, Ash Gardner, Aaron Burns, all players, as well as, you know, Hannah Darlington, Stella Campbell, all players who play for Australia. And it's really cool to be able to be in such an elite squad and to train alongside world-class players. But also we have this younger core, and it's really cool to see the different sort of groups come together. And we've got such a really nice tight-knit group, and everyone has so much fun. And it's really cool to see everyone, you know, improve and progress throughout the preseason. We just did testing today, fitness testing. We had to run a 2K, and it is literally the worst test ever. Like, oh my God, at the end of it, you just want to, I literally just laid on this just grotty crap, like gravel, and did not care. And I was just dead laying there. Anyway, but it's really cool to see so many of the young girls work their butts off for the last like 6 weeks or however long it was since we did our last one. And and see them kick their goals and improve. It's cool. Everyone's just gets around each other, and it's a really fun group. I'm really enjoying it up here.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it's fun. It definitely sounds like
Yeah,
a bit of fun.
it is.
We talked about how
Yeah.
that can work off field. Do you think that gives you an advantage on field when it actually comes to, you know, when the whips are cracking, when you're actually, you know, playing? Do you reckon that
Yeah,
gives you a bit of an edge knowing that you've got not only teammates but a bunch of friends alongside you as well, in a sense?
yeah, 100%. I always play my best cricket when I'm having the most amount of fun, and it makes it easy when you're surrounded by 10 other mates on the field. So yeah, it's really cool, and everyone, obviously we have so much fun, but we do get serious every now and then, and you know, we're full of such a skillful crew, so it's really cool to you know, see, you know, if we lose a wicket, we've got Phoebe Litchfield, the youngster, walking out to bat, and everyone backs her. It's just, yeah, everyone backs each other in the squad, and yeah, it definitely makes it easy to gel on the field when you gel off field.
Now, talking about that, obviously you're all such great friends. What is it like to come against each other playing Big Bash? Because, you know, you're in the same team for New South Wales, but then to split off and divide into the two teams to then play against each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
What's that experience like?
yeah. It is. It's actually really fun. I guess we have a little bit of banter. You know, it comes up a little bit. The rivalry pops up every now and then during training, and it's really funny to sort of tease a couple of the girls and know that you're baiting them sometimes, and they love taking the bait. But yeah, on field is it's definitely, there's a bit of banter out there. There's a bit of challenge. When we're not playing each other, we're always still supporting one another. So, you know, if someone makes runs in against another team, we'll send them a little message in our group chat, or yeah, always encouraging. And the rivalry doesn't split us up, but it definitely adds that competitive tension in the squad.
Yeah, no, I can imagine.
Yeah,
That's what you
unless
said
the
before.
final comes down to Sixers and Thunder, that'll be interesting. But no, we're strong enough to stick
Yeah.
together. Doesn't matter what happens.
I mean, yeah, that was probably the only option that would make you a bit, a bit angry.
Tense.
Yeah.
First session back. No.
So going back to what you were saying before about the academy, so you went through that New South Wales pathway, and then you went off to ACT. So why was that? How did that opportunity arise with ACT? And because, you know, a lot of people go through the New South Wales pathway and then play for New South Wales. So how did you end up going over to ACT?
I just wasn't good enough and got dropped, actually. But no, so I was in that academy, and I was in year 12, I think, and I was, yeah, I lived in the country. I was about 4.5 hours away from where the breakers were training. And I couldn't just drive down every week during the middle of the week and train for a couple of hours in the arvo. Like, it was just too tough. It was hard on my parents, and also I had school to focus on. So I wasn't training a whole lot, and I wasn't obviously wasn't in the group, so it sort of just was a bit of a tag along here and there. So I feel like, yeah, just began to sort of drift away, I guess. But I was still playing grade. I was still, so I played grade cricket down there, and I would travel. I'd wake up early on a Sunday morning, get in the car with Dad. It'd be like 4:30. We'd drive down to Sydney. I'd play a whole game of cricket, whole 50 over game, and then we'd jump back in the car and head back, and we'd get home at around 11 o'clock. So Sunday was a massive day. And then I'd go to school the next morning on Monday. So yeah, I was training at home. I wasn't really in the squad down in Sydney, and yeah, I was just playing grade cricket. So yeah, come the new year when New South Wales was sort of doing their contracts and sorting out the academy squad, yeah, I got the phone call to say that I wasn't going to be a part of the program. It's funny because the lady who called me, Leah Poulton, at the time, she was the one who re-signed me for New South of last year. So yeah, but yeah, I wasn't given an opportunity to be a part of the squad. So the only option I sort of had was just to play grade cricket, because I was too old for the underage things like that, like the under 18s and whatnot. And a girl who I played cricket with, Andrew Eakes, she also plays for the Sixers and ACT. She was at ACT, and I think she had a little word to the coach down there, and one night when I was at home, I get this phone call from the ACT coach, wanting to know if I wanted to come down and tag along for a couple of their training sessions. And at the time I wasn't really sure what to do, whether to follow this opportunity, sit in the car for 7 hours rather than 4.5 and head down to Canberra, or focus and stay in Sydney and play grade cricket and hope that I sort of got called back into that squad. But I probably saw a bit more of an opportunity with ACT. And as you sort of early on in your career, opportunities are really a big part of getting that exposure and getting that experience. And ACT was probably the better option for me. And I backed myself to head down there as much as I could now that I didn't have school, and train hard and try to get selected in their starting 11. And I ended up doing that. So I would head down to Canberra. At the time, they didn't have the contract upgrade, whereas what they do now. So if you play maybe like 3 or however many WNCL games, you get upgraded to a contract, and obviously you have a decent amount of pay to be able to pay rent and live down there. At the time, that wasn't around, so I ended up just traveling to and from where I'm from in the mid North Coast down to Canberra, which was about 7 hours. Stay down there for a few days and then head back. So it was pretty tricky. And eventually I got picked and I was debuting at the WACA, which was really cool. And eventually the following year, when I was offered a full contract, I moved down there and lived there for a few years, studied, and got some really great exposure and experience. And sort of that's how my career started off. And everything down there sort of naturally came to a bit of an end, and I wanted to move closer to home. And that's sort of how the journey from ACT to New South and pathways transitioned.
Yeah, I think the story is quite a wonderful one in a sense, because it's not the stereotypical cricket story of, playing for your home state, you had to go elsewhere. Do you think the fact that you've not had it easy, obviously being an athlete never is, and there's always challenges for people to overcome, but do you think the fact that you've not had it easy and you've had to balance year 12, playing for a different state to the one you live in, 7-hour drives and the like, do you think that sort of giving you that mindset, that mental mindset to go, well, if I can do that, I can sort of do anything?
Yeah, definitely. I think, I definitely don't find a 3-hour drive very long now that I sort of experienced that 7-hour drive, which is a funny silver lining, I guess, from the big commute. But definitely being an elite athlete isn't all that it's sort of cracked up to be. There's definitely so many struggles. Obviously you have the brilliance and privilege of playing sport as your job, but when you go through injuries or when you go through being dropped, and all the other sort of struggles, I guess, that come with that, it definitely makes it hard, and definitely teaches you resilience and persistence. They're probably the 2 big learnings that I got out of that journey. And it's really cool. I was reflecting the other day, and I was so naive before around that year 12, like the year after school. And I was looking back, I'm like, how was I just so chill? Like, I literally, when I got the phone call to say that I wasn't going to be a part of the academy squad, I was like, oh, like, whatever. I'll just like do a gap year in Europe or something. Like, not thinking like, yes, I want to be a professional cricketer. Like, I was just so naive, and just like, because I played cricket for the fun of it, and I just happened to be have a bit of skill and a bit of talent, I guess. But I played it because I enjoyed it, and I'm really grateful for Ange and that opportunity that came with ACT. But at the time I was just really chill and naive, and and just living in the present. So it's sort of funny looking back and reflecting on the whole journey. But things happen for a reason, and it all worked out in the end, I guess. So touch wood that there's no injuries this season. But I'm feeling really great and grateful, and really cool to be in the position that I am.
Yeah, certainly. And I think naivety is the same with all, youth. I think it's something that the parents, me and Lily are both going through that somewhat now. And again, as we keep going,
it all works out.
It does. It does.
Just do whatever you want, whatever you think's fun. It'll work out in the end.
Yeah, definitely. But it's a good life lesson to have, and experience is certainly important. But we talked about your experiences in New South Wales and the ACT. Let's move down to Victoria for a minute. A few seasons at the Renegades, which again, when you just throw in, you've got New South Wales player, New South Wales growing up there, playing for the ACT, and then throwing Victoria into the mix just for the fun of it. A few seasons with the Renegades. Did you have to balance the commitments between the different states? And if so, how did you sort of manage that?
Well, I guess Big Bash is a unique one because it's its own mini tournament, I guess, or not mini, it's pretty freaking big. It's its own tournament that happens at it's just like a 6-week block, and you go away, you're based with your team, and you go around and play. So it doesn't actually interfere or like interact really with state stuff. So ACT obviously don't have a Big Bash squad, and I ended up getting into the Renegades because ACT headed down to we played these practice games against Victoria, and there was a coach there who saw some potential in me, I guess. And on my way back from that trip, gave me a phone call, and that's sort of how the Renegades connection sort of came about, which I was over the moon. Like when I got the call, because obviously I wasn't a part of any sort of professional setup the previous year when Big Bash 01 it was. So yeah, to be a part of something that was new and exciting really got me going, and I was super pumped. I remember being in the car just going, what, like, are you serious, man? But yeah, that's how that sort of came about. And that's sort of how it is with New South Wales as well. We obviously have our state coaches, and we can contact them, like obviously just like normal, but when the Big Bash is on, we usually just head away with our individual teams and sort of become one with that club and travel around. And then when the Big Bash finishes, we head back to our states, and everything sort of goes back to normal. Because there's a few other girls I think who play for different associations, because it's more like franchise based. That's just sort of, that's how that sort of dynamic works, I guess.
The Big Bash, like you said, you're very excited to join up with the Renegades, but just being a part of the whole tournament, I know as a viewer, from a viewer's perspective, cricket's exciting, love watching it, but the Big Bash is something else, and it's fun, and it's the fast-paced cricket. So do you feel any different going into a Big Bash season than you would a WNCL season, for example, because it's going to be fun, colourful, exciting? It's definitely marketed a lot different to classic WNCL stuff. It's obviously a different format, so I really enjoy playing T20 cricket. So it definitely feels different. It feels more like rock star celeb vibes, like playing in Big Bash. Like there's always so much fun and hype, and it's sort of marketed like that as well. So when we turn up to games, there's a lot of fan engagement, which is really cool. We have a lot more people turn up to Big Bash games than we do WNCL. So it's so fun. Like each year when it comes is like, it's like Christmas. It actually did used to be at Christmas time. So that was, I really wish that there would be a bit more crossover with the guys. It'd be interesting to see like what sort of happens in the next few years, because when I first started getting when I was first playing with the Renegades, obviously that was when we would play double headers with the men, and our comp was at the same. So there was a bit of extra sort of excitement, I guess, because by the end of our games, like I played one game, for instance, at the MCG, which was epic because we obviously got to play at some really big grounds. And by the end of our game, we had about 30,000 in the crowd, and that was insane. It was the most amount of people I'd played in front of, and it was really cool to feel super special. And it still does, like rock up to North Sydney and a few other grounds around Australia, and there's just so much excitement and energy around it. And
it's such a fast-paced game. It's super unpredictable. Like, you never know what team's going to win at the end of the tournament. Like, you cannot pick it, honestly. Like, for instance, the Sixers last year, you know, good on paper, but wooden spooners. But it's really cool, and I love playing Big Bash, and it's really fast paced, and that's, you know, I'm all about that. It's cool, but you know, when need be, can block in the one days, so gotta be adaptable.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, it's interesting you mentioned that, actually, because obviously, you know, Big Bash, as fun as it is and exciting as it is, and moving away from the men's as well, you know, it gave it its own tournament separate from the men's, but there have been some issues, I guess, with that, with it falling in school term time, which then you lose a lot of young fans. You know, I've had to miss lots of school days over the years to go and watch Big Bash, which probably isn't great, but
I know some people are like, dude, no brainer, like, don't put it on a school day if you want kids to come. But yeah, it just sort of has to work out that way sometimes, unfortunately. But spewing.
Yeah, I know. Now, I guess joining back up with the Sixers, it must be pretty crazy, I guess, because, you know, like moving over to New South Wales again, but being back up with, like you said, Elise Perry in the Sixers squad, and Healy and Ash Gardner. That must be a pretty cool team and experience to play around those kind of girls.
Yeah, definitely. You know, like it's awesome to be able to be surrounded by world-class players who are literally the best in the world at what they do. So it's pretty special to be in the same team as them. It's awesome. I really hope that we can fire out this year. Like, we really struggled last year. And we were on the road for a long time. Like, I think that was a really big part of it. I was living out of my suitcase for 3 months, and with all the border closures and whatnot, that sort of was a bit hard. So hopefully this year, we can do a lot better. But yeah, it's awesome to be in a squad with these girls, like, just to watch how they prepare, and also just have those conversations about cricket on and off the field, and also just get to know them a bit more. It's cool. It's really, my younger self would be pinching themselves. Like, I was super starstruck when I first started meeting Pez. Like, when I would rock up to the Breakers training as a youngster in the academy side, I was just like in awe of Pez, and obviously Midge as well. So it's really cool to know that I grew up looking up to these women, and now I'm playing alongside them, and you know, maybe some young girl looks up to me, and hopefully one day we can meet and play alongside one another. So yeah, it's really cool having a looking back and at all the whole situation.
Yeah, it's a question we actually often ask the guests that we get on here. Is like, do you see yourself? No, not at all. It's like, do you see yourself as a role model? And it's sort of, it's an interesting question we get, because some people say that they don't see themselves in that sort of light, and others say that they do. So where do you sort of put yourself in that sort of bracket? Do you see yourself as, you know, as some form of icon or role model for people to look up to, or is it just you go about your cricket and everything else takes care of itself?
I think it's hard not to realize that you are a role model for, I guess for me, young boys and girls growing up. I think we're in such a, in a great position where we can, you know, we have so much exposure, and there's so much attention on us, which is really cool. And I think, especially for me, I would say the country kids, I would say I'm a bit of a role model for them, you know, like, it's obviously a bit trickier being away from a main city where most of the opportunity is. But if you put your mind to it, you know, ta-da, you can do it like I did. But yeah, I think it's really special. And I've got time for, you know, for so many young fans who rock up to the game, because I just remember like being in that position myself. And and every sort of interaction you've got with a young boy or girl is like, really impactful. And I saw this, we had a clinic at our center the other day, and this young boy actually rocked up with a sign, and it said cricket's a sport for everyone, and had a couple of the Blues players, but a little cutout of me. I thought that was really special. It wasn't a young girl or anything. It was a young boy, and to have, I guess, me on this little sign was really special to know that we're sort of role models for young kids growing up playing cricket.
Yeah, I did actually see that. That was on Sunrise, wasn't it?
So nice. Yeah, so
Yeah,
cute. Actually, it's in our the signs in the little hanging up in the little cafe that we've got in the center now, which is really cool. So it's so cute.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I think that, they're obviously the reasons why fans, as we love sport, and I suppose players as well, is the fact that the fans can get themselves involved, and there's that real interaction. Obviously, we wrote this question before we obviously got you on the podcast, but we sort of knew that you had an outgoing personality, and now firsthand we could tell that. From not only the social media posts that you put up to your however many thousands of followers you've got, quite a fair few. But how important is it for you to give fans a look into your life outside of cricket?
I think it's really important. I think for me personally, to understand my identity, like not only as a cricketer, like to show that I'm more than that, I'm a gardener. I whacked up a couple of pics of my colleagues on Insta just before the podcast, and all the other interests, and I think also just to really encourage and show balance outside of what you do. I think it doesn't matter what sort of job you're in. If you're tunnel visioned in that job, you're probably not going to have the best time. So I think it's really important to have balance outside of that for your identity, but also just so you can experience some different things. And I guess one of the big sort of eye openers for me was when I got injured. All of a sudden, you're out of the game for 6 to 9 months, or however friggin' long that was. And yeah, that for me was a real moment of, oh, thank God, I've got things going on outside of cricket. I had my study. I was down in Canberra studying industrial design, and at the time of tearing my hemi off the bone, I obviously was on crutches for a little bit after surgery, and I was presented an opportunity to be a part of an art exhibition, and that was something completely foreign to me. Like rocking up to an art gallery opening night was like super uncomfortable. I'm like, if it was a sporting setting, I'd be like, hell yeah, like how's it going, like all this. But I was really low key and I was super nervous. But I was invited to this art exhibition to be a feature artist, and I had to whip up this piece, and I made a 3D printed lounge. It was pretty cool. And at the time, I think if I was fully fit and in season, I don't think I actually would have had any time to make this piece and be in this exhibition. So found a little silver lining in being injured, and yeah, doing something completely different, and yeah, having this balance outside of cricket is really important. And yeah, I just try to share that and just try to be real, and yeah, just have a laugh and have fun, because yeah, life's too short to be serious and boring. So yeah.
Certainly is. With the industrial design stuff, you've got your own Instagram page and everything, and all the stuff on it looks absolutely brilliant. 6-stitch design for anyone who.
It's a little bit low key at the moment, but I'll have to jump back on it.
We'll give you a plug, because if you've not seen it, it's wonderful. All the stuff that you put on there. So was it that injury that sort of sparked that interest, or was there something before that, maybe from a while back, where you sort of thought, now that I've got time, I can go into it, or was it just a new thing, like off a whim?
No, actually, I got into design when I was in year 12. I did design and technology. That was the subject. And yeah, I found a passion for design and making things. And living on the farm, I was always hands-on and making things in the shed with dad, and finding out how such and such tool worked. And I was just really interested in being hands-on and making things that looked cool. So that's sort of how the passion started. And when I moved down to Canberra and signed a contract down there, our player development manager encouraged me to study. And we have staff who encourage us to study, because I'm not going to be rolling the arm over when I'm 45, I'm pretty sure. So I got to have a plan B and a career after cricket, and yeah, studying early sort of sets me up for that. So yeah, the degree took longer than what it said, because I made it take longer than what it said, doing, you know, chopping and changing between part-time and full-time. But yeah, it was really great, because I once again, going back to that balance, I had something going on outside of cricket and in my downtime, rather than like sitting there twiddling my thumbs like, oh, can't wait for the net session tomorrow, like that's all I've got going on in my life. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, study and make this project, and it just kept that balance. And I'm really grateful that I did study, because that injury happened, and I had a pretty cool project to make, and that came about because of the degree. And at the moment I haven't done a whole lot with it, because I'm finally back, and the season's been pretty busy in the last couple years. You know, being in and out of that Aussie squad has been pretty hectic, and hasn't enabled me enough time to sort of go and work in the industry outside. But hopefully I'm working through that at the moment, and trying to do a little bit of unpaid work here and there. But it's just something I do because I really like it, and it's really cool, and it's fun, and that's what I'm all about.
It's brilliant. Love it. Yeah. Is that something you see yourself kind of doing post cricket, or is it something that you just enjoy doing, and you know, you're happy to kind of keep it just going on the side at the moment?
Probably, at the moment it's more of just a bit on the side. I sort of chose it and went into it just doing it because I enjoyed it. Not necessarily like had a big career goal in mind. And I think there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I'm super open to any opportunities that arise, whether it's in industrial design or whether it's something else that pops up. It might be in media or in commentating. So keeping an open mind, and I'm just gonna do what I did when I was young and just be naive and just chill and not worry about it. And channel my energy into cricket. But no, at the moment it's just more of something that I'm doing for fun. And as I said, if an opportunity comes, then and it's pretty cool and something that I'm interested in, then definitely I would give that a crack. But just more for fun at the moment.
Yeah. No, I actually think you'd be a brilliant commentator. Let me tell you, if you were commentating on some games, I would love to tune in. I think that would be so good.
Thank you. I did commentate one game, and it was when I got injured, and I was 3 days post-operation. And I honestly probably still had something in my system, because I was like just relaxed and just really, really vibing it. It was very fun. But I'd like to get into it. God, I'd be nervous. I know people think that I'm all right at media, but I get super like stressed, and I like get tight chested, and I don't want to swear. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I'm sure that's it'll, you know, what do they call it, like first time nerves. That'll be right. But we'll see what happens. I'll have to let them know that you're keen to hear me, so I'll try to get in the box.
I reckon there wouldn't be too many people muting the TV. I reckon if you're on comms.
They just listen to hear the train wreck. No, I'm kidding.
No, but from experience, it definitely is a first time thing, and you know, once you do things, as with anything in life, you sort of calm yourself down. After that,
someone gave me a really great tip, because I was talking to them about, you know, commentating and trying to get good at doing media. And you know, when you have the moments when you're in the car, you're obviously singing along, and you're just super carefree, and no one can hear what you're doing, and your true self, I would say. Well, my tip was to turn down the radio and just pretend that you were commentating, and practice, like pretend that someone was interviewing you, and like that's a really great time to like practice that stuff. So the more I do that, the more confident I'll get with the commentating, I reckon.
Certainly. But you know, I think, you know, get a hashtag trending, Maitlan on comms or something for WNCL or WBBL. I think if you're not playing, which I'm sure you'd rather be doing, there's certainly not a bad second option. But back to on-field cricket now. Obviously, you've been in and around the Australia setup, touring Sri Lanka, and you've been involved with Australia A against England A over the journey as well. What's it like playing international cricket, and is that like the main goal of yours going forward?
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, honestly, when I get the phone call to be a part of a tour, I get super nervous and super excited because it's literally the best cricket team in the world. Like they're so successful. They've got every friggin' trophy in the trophy case, and it's obviously a really tough squad to crack. So, one of my goals is to obviously get that cap. I feel like I've been in and amongst the squad a few times, and I just haven't quite been given the opportunity. And it can be super disappointing sometimes and really deflating, but I guess, having perspective on the whole situation, it's still freaking cool that I'm in the squad. Like, being surrounded by, world-class players and being a part of the squad's really special. And definitely when I'm a bit bummed out about not getting picked or something like that, just trying to keep the perspective of being involved at the forefront because it's super special. But hopefully I perform well in domestic cricket this season, and I can get the call up again and hopefully this time get handed a cap. But it definitely doesn't come easy, and I don't expect it to either. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, but I'm freaking trying.
Yeah, it sounds like it. We wouldn't knock you for trying because it is a tough team to break into.
It is, yeah.
Obviously, you were part of the Australia A side, as was mentioned before, against England earlier this year, which, being an England cricket fan, was kind of tough to watch for a lot of the summer because we got battered. But what was being around that team like? And how special was it to play against even some of England's best? You had Izzy Wong, I think, played for England in that.
Yeah. Legend.
Who's exploded.
Izzy's cool. Izzy actually came and trained in the Breakers squad for a little bit before that Aussie A tour, which was really cool to get to know her and to see her achieve so many great things. She's absolutely killing it. But yeah, to be in that Aussie A squad was really fun. It's such a fun group. God, like I love it. It's really cool. There's some characters in there. Molly Strano, Grace Harris was in the squad last time, and the group's generally more of a younger course. So we all get along really well, and we performed really well. We actually beat Australia in one of the games that we played. So I'll always remember that and always remind the gals if they start thinking better than us, which they are. That was a really fun squad to be a part of. And I guess one of the great things was just to be able to play games. I think anytime that you get extra games in the season is super handy. So to have the extra games under the belt was definitely a perk of being a part of that recent Aussie versus England A Ashes series.
And to win every game against England, that must have just been the icing on top of the cake, right?
We definitely we didn't wipe the floor with England, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
There are a couple of girls who flogged us around. Look, just spitting facts. No. It was really cool, and it was it was great to we were definitely challenged at times. We had a couple of girls who started scoring a lot of runs and quickly. I think Bryony Smith came out hot in most of the games that we played, and we were on the back foot and we're like, oh crap, like what's gonna happen next? So there were definitely a couple of tussles back and forth, and it was really cool to obviously get on the right side of that. But such a great series. I think we definitely need to play more Aussie stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I guess talking about, building up to this season, what are you most looking forward to about any of the formats? What is the thing that you're just the most excited for in this upcoming summer?
I think obviously Big Bash, like that's such a fun time of the year. But we've been with the Breakers, I've been with the Breakers for the last however many weeks pre-season, and we're working our butts off. And I'm really excited for WNCL season to kick off because yeah, I'm really confident in the girls, and I think we've got what it takes this year. You know, we're a bit disappointed last year, missed out on a few games that we really needed to win to progress to finals. So we've got fire in the belly, and we're ready to get into it. And we're also playing our first few rounds at North Sydney and in Sydney, which is really cool because then my family can come down and watch us play. So I'm really excited for that. And I'm also really excited specifically to be playing at North Sydney with the Sixers. We got stitched up a little bit. We're playing there like at the end of the season. But once again, just to have family and friends in the crowd is something that I've really missed out on and really missed in the last few years with all the restrictions and whatnot. So yeah, to play some cricket, but also to have friends and family come and watch and also fans to see you guys and engage with you guys.
Yeah, so just to get life back to normal, I guess, is just
the
cricket season is just really we're really looking forward to it. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally. Yeah.
I think that's the main thing as well with fans. You've got to get fans involved. Obviously it doesn't really seem normal, but just one more before we take a bit of a I mean, this has been pretty lighthearted, but an even more lighthearted turn. Just one more serious-ish question. What's your favourite cricketing memory? And if is there one that sort of sticks out, or have you got a few that are sort of on that same level?
I would say as a youngster, a bit of nostalgia here, probably just playing backyard cricket with my brother. That's sort of how I first started getting into cricket. We played with an axe handle, no axe head on it, just the handle, so just literally a piece of wood, which is essentially what a cricket bat is, but a piece of wood and a tennis ball. And we played all day and we were just obsessed with it. So yeah, that's definitely very fond. But also probably that the game that I mentioned, the New Year's Day game when I played for the Renegades. We played against the Stars, and it was a doubleheader against the men, and we were out in the MCG, and it's such a bloody, oh god, it's freaking huge. Hey, the MCG is massive. Like you literally feel like an ant. Like I am an ant at the top of my mark at the MCG. But yeah, playing there was really cool. And yeah, by the end of it, we actually ended up going into a super over. And because of that sort of, the crowd obviously came in a little bit closer to the men's game. And yeah, there was 30,000 roaring people watching us play. And that was really cool.
I've got a feeling I might have been there that day. I might have been.
Oh yeah.
I think I might have been. Because obviously, was that the one where there was like the 80,000 for the men's game and there was like a massive crowd?
Yeah. Huge.
I would have been there. That was crazy. That was brilliant. And I think did you guys win the Super Over? I think because I remember going there.
I don't know. I can't remember. I think I dropped a card in the Super Over.
I think that's one of the best Big Bash memories I've got. Was that day?
It's cool. Or yeah, probably that. That's really cool. But also, and also a cricket memory. But the first phone call that I got to be a part of an Aussie tour, that was a pretty epic moment. I was just chilling at home, and yeah, just seeing the head selector's name pop on my phone. I'm like, oh, what's going on? I don't know what the hell is happening here. Like, I didn't know there was a tour coming up. What's this about? And I answered it, and I just remember like getting off the phone and like turning to David, my fiance, and just saying, oh my god, I've just been picked to play like against New Zealand in a couple months. And we both just like hugged each other and just started like crying in the like lounge room. And it was really like, it's very soppy or whatever, but like it was really cool because obviously it meant a lot to me, but to have him like also get really emotional about it was really cool because he's just been such a big support of mine. And to finally have, it's freaking tough to crack the squad, so to finally feel like I was over that hurdle a little bit and having a bit of a breakthrough moment was like super special. So that's cricket moment-y, but not really. Hopefully I take a hat trick. Like that'd be like that'd be a cricket moment for you, but I haven't got that. But yeah, I'll stick with the soppy emotional one instead.
Look, and that's part of life, isn't it? There's plenty of time to get the hat trick and get your Australia cap. So
yeah, exactly.
It's not like you're winding down.
Yeah.
Best is
I
yet
feel
to
like
come.
such like an imposter. They're like, oh man, I'm not Australian cricketer. I'm like, yeah, but just drinks runner at the moment. So yeah.
But we're going to move
Thank
on
you.
if that's okay. We've got a bit of a would you rather, this or that type section. So there's just a few quick
me.
fire. Well, they don't have to be quick fire, but a few quick questions. You know, one or the other kind of thing. So just to start off, T20 or Test cricket?
T20, come at me, traditionalists, but
Oh.
T20. Are you one of those?
I would say I would prefer Test
I-
cricket, but
Yeah.
each to their own. Each to their own.
I'm T20, so
Yeah,
you got me.
led to a bit of a split on the podcast, but you know, healthy debate is good. Beach or backyard cricket?
Backyard. I actually have not. I don't think I played beach cricket. Like I didn't grow up near the beach. I still went to the beach. Like I wasn't that sheltered, but yeah, backyard cricket is probably where I first kindled my love for the game. So I'm gonna go with that.
No, I think I tend to side with you on this one. The beach can get a little bit annoying, but yeah, backyard.
Yeah, like I feel like it would just hit and just not really go anywhere. Maybe.
Yeah, and just
Yeah,
running
it's
is
not-
just annoying.
Yeah, true. You get sore feet because you're like gripping the sand as you're running. Like
Yeah, it's just heavy.
injuries, yeah. Look,
Yeah, certainly. Right, would you rather hit 3 sixes to win a game of cricket or take a hat trick to win a game of cricket?
oh, the inner wannabe all rounder in me says 3 sixes because that'll just be like BDE energy. But hat trick. I gotta do it. I gotta, do it for the bowlers.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Like that's sick. Both visions, yeah. I
Yeah.
reckon they remember the hat trick more though.
Because it's like a
More
thing, isn't it?
statty. It's more statty.
All right, non-cricket related one. A few now in a row. Orange juice or apple juice?
Oh my gosh, never thought about that. Not biased to either, but I'll go with orange juice because I
Yes, good
love
choice.
citrus.
Yeah,
Yes.
full house.
Apple
Full
juice
house.
can be a bit sweet. Actually, this is super random. I feel like when I have apple juice, I like cough. Like, because it's
I mean, I
so
don't-
sweet in my throat. Like when, like I would have like if I had like a slushy or something, I'd just cough. Like
Yeah.
having it just because
Yeah.
the throat irritation. So that's what I
Yeah.
go with apple juice. God, I'm just embarrassing myself. Next question.
That's fine. Would you rather be 10 minutes late always or half an hour early always?
Oh, half an hour early always. I'm an hour and more early all the time to training. I try to
Just
beat
ready.
the traffic, but also I am. I like get there. I'm like, all right, where the hell is everyone? No, I'm always early.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Good.
I love it.
You've got an approving nod there.
Really,
Yeah.
really randomly, we were at this game. We're at North Sydney, and it was a rain delay, so we were just chilling in the change rooms, and the security. No, obviously I have like security, so any randoms can't just come in and steal your kid or whatever. Anyway, I was having a chat to this lady because we're obviously like bored waiting for the rain to stop. And this woman was trying to convince me that banana on pizza is a good idea. I
Oh,
was
is that
like,
before?
are you serious?
No.
Have you? Yeah, I was like, oh, like she was, so the way she was telling me, I'm like, wow, I'm like super convinced by you. Like, I feel like I'm missing out on something. She was so convincing. So I'm yet to try it, but I mean, like, who knows?
So yeah, that's a really interesting one. But for the random security guard at North Sydney, you've got to do it, I reckon. Some point or another.
Do it for the Seki.
Yeah, just a little homage to the Seki. Love it. Right, this is going to be a bit of a two-parter. WNCL or WBBL?
Oh, this is WBBL covering the WBBL.
With the breakers jacket on as
It's
well.
just fun. It's so, I know it's shocking. It'd be funny if I had a Sixers shirt on today, but
Traitor.
I don't. I have a training shirt on, but I know. It's just the excitement. It's just I prefer playing T20 cricket, and yeah, it just feels a bit like rock starry and fun. Like maybe if WNCL had a bit more of that vibe going, but
fireworks and stuff.
Exactly. Yeah. See, we don't get fireworks at WNTL,
Nah,
but we do at Big Bash. That's my justification.
Yeah. So following on from that, then obviously you're yet to get an Australia cap, but we're sure that's going to change. Would you rather get only one Australia cap in your career and never win the WBBL, or win 3 WBBL titles but never play for Australia?
Oh, nah, I got to play for Australia. That's one of my biggest goals, and to get that cap would be great. Like, look, I've gone 7 years without winning a Big Bash title, and it's been all right since. So I'll take the cap and not win any trophies.
Yeah, just don't tell your Sixers administration that, and you'll be right as rain.
Yeah.
But that just about concludes the interview.
But once again, like we said, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been so much fun to talk to you, and all the best with your cricket. We'll be keeping a close eye and staying tuned. So yeah, all the best with the upcoming season as well.
And bowled first ball straight through Van Niekerk. Maitlan Brown strikes for the Sydney Sixers.
So that was the interview with Maitlan Brown. We really hope you enjoyed listening. But yeah, I can't stop smiling. It was just so much fun, wasn't it?
No, you made the comment that as soon as we'd finished that interview, you were actually hurting from smiling all that much, which is a wonderful thing to be experiencing a slight bit of pain from. If you're smiling too much, then, I don't think there is a point where you can smile too much, is there? If we're being truthful.
My cheeks do ache a bit. So, but I just thinking about the interview, I just can't stop smiling because it was just so much fun. So yeah, I don't know. It's good pain.
Yeah, certainly. It was awesome, wasn't it? It's just a pinch yourself moment when you're thinking, right, we're interviewing these people. We've interviewed, since I've come onto the podcast, we've been lucky to interview together some wonderful people. It's just one of those we just go, I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, I can't believe I'm on a podcast interviewing some wonderful people, and it's been a lot of fun. So I like to make the point of thanking you quite a lot, and you're probably getting sick and tired of listening to me thank you. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's a privilege to interview these people, and it's interviews like that show that, I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And like I said, it's really good to have you on board, and I'm glad we've been able to do these interviews this far together. But yeah, just so brilliant to talk to Maitlan. I love the way that, I thought we should mention the way that we came in contact, because it was just, I love it, and I won't stop telling this story to people. But
brilliant, isn't it? The world must know. The world must know how this happened.
Yeah. So I messaged her back in May, asking her if she wanted to come on the podcast, and obviously she's got quite a big following, so I wouldn't expect her to be scrolling through all her requests and find my message. But she put out the other day, she put on her story like a question box to ask us some questions, do a bit of a Q&A, and I posted from the podcast account saying, fancy coming on the podcast, with an emoji or something like that. And then she responded to my message saying, just saw your comment on the Q&A and had a little stalk, and I'd love to come on the podcast. And I was like, what?
It's just so unexpected, wasn't it? It was so unexpected, because it's like, because we've if we break the fourth wall a little bit, we have like a list of people who we've asked, and it's like, we get a list and we formulate it and we try and put times in. Maitlan Brown was never like in the picture, because as you say, you tried and it wasn't quite successful the first time round, but to get like a surprise like that was amazing, really. And when the interview comes out as good as it did, because obviously you're never sure with interviewees how they're going to go, right? But that one worked out better than we ever could have dreamt, really. And certainly this dream that we're having about the Maitlan Brown podcast is going better than your Susie Bates ones, but that's a discussion for another day. But Maitlan Brown, absolutely quality, and if ever we get the chance to speak to her again, it's one of those where it's just like, you would take it every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, just such an amazing person, and feeling super lucky to have been able to talk to her, and hopefully I can see her down at Karen Rolton Oval this summer, which is going to be really fun. But anyway, that was that interview with Maitlan Brown. Like we said, hope you enjoyed listening. So much fun to do. But yeah, that is all for this week. Next week, like usual, we will be joined by another guest. But in the meantime, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok at How's That TCP, or you can send an email at howsthatthecricketpodcast@gmail.com. But thanks again for listening, and that is all from me this week.
Yeah, another brilliant podcast. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your week.
How's that? You missed the